This is my psychology and advertising project. My name is Paige Evans. So the advertisement I chose was Apple's new holiday advertisement. It depicts an animated young girl who's working on some form of creative work on her Apple laptop. She appears to be too shy to share her work with anyone in various scenes of her working alone and hiding her screen, until her pet dog opens up a window and sending her artwork flying into the city. People catch them and their facial expressions appear touched and moved by what they find. It's a about 3-minute long video, but there's the link to the URL. The topic I chose to relate to this advertisement was emotion and motivation. Emotions are fairly difficult to describe as they are individual experiences, but the definition in the textbook was a positive or negative experience associated with a particular pattern of physiological activity. Motivations, on the other hand, are purposes or psychological causes for actions. There are many theories behind what causes emotions, why they occur, and what causes motivations / where they come from, and this topic in relation to my chosen advertisement is to come. But first, I decided to analyze the advertisement. I think this ad is really moving and impactful and could be really poignant and strike the hearts of many young creative artists. I think Apple designed the video to make this character relatable for viewers, especially in the fear of displaying her art. I'd also say the ending, with the art being seen and loved and people reacting to it, can touch the hearts of many artists, as many people clearly want to impact others with their creative work. I think these components could push young creative people of any age, honestly, to invest in Apple products of their own after seeing this video. Perhaps these people could see how happy she looks, and the people seeing her art, how happy they look, and with the hope that if they purchase these same Apple products, they could experience the same effect. The only change I could think of to further relate my advertisement to my topic was remove the lyrics from the music to further drive individual interpretation of expression, but it is a beautiful song. Analysis of the advertisement in relation to the topic, as mentioned before. Firstly, I looked at theories of emotion, such as the James Lang theory. People could be touched by this advertisement so much that they'd be moved to cry. A physiological reaction, or they could just experience, warmth or joy after watching it, and then they would be pushed by this pathos to purchase these Apple products, or even just to feel related to this character. Same with the Cannon-Bard theory, simultaneously being joyful and teary-eyed, again pushed by this pathos to buy. I also looked at the universality of expression, how this video could be poignant around the world because emotional expressions have the same meaning for everyone. And I looked at the study Matsumoto and Willingham from 2009. I'll analyze that further later. More analysis in relation to emotion and motivation, looking at motivations from Maslow's hierarchy of needs. This self-actualization could be achieved in recognition of one's art form, as seen in the video, and as a person could achieve if they purchase these Apple products. And beyond that, their self-esteem, their esteem needs may be met in these creative outlets that they can further express with the purchasing of these products. People can also relate to these motivations and thus relate to the animated character, making the advertisement more poignant. I also looked at extrinsic and intrinsic motivations. Self-rewarding are intrinsic motivations, feeling good when you make your art and then being pushed to buy these products so that you can further achieve these intrinsic feelings of creative outlet. And with extrinsic, being externally rewarded, receiving recognition similar to the girl in the animation, making people happy with your art, again, pushing you to purchase these products. Now, looking at the empirical article or the research study that I chose to relate to my advertisement was Matsumoto and Willingham from 2009. Now, this study was related to interpreting emotions and facial expressions cross-culturally. They used American, Japanese, British, and international students in the United States. And they had to attribute emotions to Olympic judo athletes at the end of their match before receiving a medal. They found that there was high cross-cultural agreement in this attribution of emotions, and that members of different cultures did this reliably, judging spontaneously produced facial expressions. Findings also suggest the use of the same facial cues when judging emotions cross-culturally, and that the signal value of facial expressions is consistent. Now, the title of this study in the article was Cross-Cultural Judgments of Spontaneous Facial Expression of Emotions. The authors listed and the source from the Journal of Nonverbal Behavior. The introduction was, in this study, observers in 4 cultural groups, as stated previously, judged the expressions of originally reported facial expressions that were used in Matsumoto and Willingham's 2006 study, which were actually from the Olympics of 2004. There were 5 hypotheses, and they are listed there, all having to do with signal clarity and emotional attributions, basically just aligning with their introduction of making sure cross-culturally there is universality of expression. The method had 548 participants, all from the different countries, ranging from about 18 to 24 years old on average. Again, the facial stimuli came from their 2006 study, and the expressions were captured at the end of a medal match and during 2 points of a medal ceremony when receiving their medal and during their national anthem. The data was collected via computer, and they created a measure of signal clarity using that following formula. The AUs referred to in that formula are comprehensive and anatomically based method of identifying the specific facial muscles. The results they found in relation to the 5 hypotheses are there. Emotional attributions will match the predicted emotions across observer groups. Cultural differences in absolute levels of agreement rates, cultural similarities in relative agreement rates. Signal clarity will be associated with emotional attribution agreement rates across cultures, and emotional attributions will be associated with judgments of match outcomes for all observer groups accurately. And there are some quantitative data results as well. In conclusion, they found that, as expected, agreement rates for all 4 groups were generally lower than typically reported in studies otherwise involving posed facial expressions. Still, they found that observers in all groups attributed the same emotions to spontaneous expressions as those predicted by FACS at above chance levels. And those same emotions were the modal judgments for most expressions. There was also high cross-cultural consistency in the relative agreement rates across expressions. Signal clarity was associated with emotional attributions, and emotional attributions were predictive of judgments of match outcomes, and judgment accuracy was equivalent across cultures. So further analyzing the study, but in relation to the topic and to the advertisement. In relation to the topic, it really dives into the topic of universality of expression through cross-cultural reliability of their results. So they really looked at how universally we do look at the same cues to identify different facial expressions, and how reliably this can be done as well. In relation to the advertisement, on the other hand, there were no words in the actual advertisement video, not counting the lyrics to the music, which didn't have too much to do with the video. This solidifies the necessity of expression universality for the ad to be received and understood across the world. People everywhere can gather the same message from this advertisement, making it effective globally. And this also means that the ad can be used across the world to impact many, feel for the character in the video, and persuade people to buy their products. So essentially, I looked at how in the study they found that there was this reliable universality of expression and identifying these facial expressions, and how in the advertisement, if results were to be generalized to that, which I think they fairly could be, you can understand that people would get the same message from this video across the world and thus be moved to buy these Apple products. Thank you.